Murray N. Rothbard's seminal work, Power and Market, Government and the Economy, takes readers into a thought-provoking exploration of government intervention, free markets, and the fundamental principles that shape our society. Rothbard's central argument in the book is a bold and unapologetic critique of government intervention in all its forms. He challenges the very notion that the state is necessary, desirable, or even capable of solving societal problems. According to Rothbard, the state is inherently injurious to civil society. If we truly want to improve the world, we must look beyond government and seek solutions in the market. Rothbard's perspective is a stark departure from conventional economic thought. While economists often praise the free market as a system of voluntary exchanges, Rothbard digs deeper. He emphasizes that free exchange is fundamentally an exchange of property titles. This means that economists must scrutinize the conditions and nature of property ownership in a truly free society. Rothbard posits that in a free society, every individual has an absolute right to their own self and the natural resources they find and transform through their labor. This leads to the property structure of free market capitalism. Economists cannot fully analyze the free market without a comprehensive theory of property rights and justice in property. In a free society, aggression against person or property would not occur, either because individuals voluntarily refrain or because the market's defensive mechanisms are sufficient to prevent it. However, Rothbard points out a paradox. Economists often assume that the market must be kept free by invasive actions, such as government institutions. Rothbard takes this argument further by proposing the radical idea of free market defense. He suggests that defense services should be supplied on the free market, just like any other service. This would mean the complete absence of a state apparatus, as the state acquires its revenue through coercion rather than voluntary exchange. Rothbard acknowledges that many laissez-faire economists believe in upholding market freedom and property rights, but insists that defense services cannot be supplied by the market. He criticizes this view as a contradiction, as it sanctions the invasion of property by the very agency meant to protect against such invasions. He dismantles common objections to free market defense, such as the need for the state to define property rights or the unique status of defense as a precondition for market activity. Rothbard argues that these functions can be fulfilled by the market itself, using reason and market processes. Rothbard doesn't leave us hanging with abstract theory. He offers a glimpse into what a free market defense system might look like. He suggests that defense services would be sold on a subscription basis, with multiple competitors vying for consumer trust through efficiency and integrity. He also speculates that insurance companies might play a role, as reducing crime would be in their direct interest. Rothbard acknowledges potential challenges, such as disputes between subscribers of different defense agencies, but proposes solutions like privately competitive appeals courts. Rothbard highlights the historical importance of competitive judiciaries in the West. He cites examples like the law merchant and admiralty law, which were developed by privately competitive judges. He argues that the absence of a single, ultimate decision-maker hasn't prevented people from living and trading together harmoniously. Rothbard refutes the notion that defense is a collective good that can only be supplied by the state. He argues that individuals would be willing to pay for protection if the price was right, just as they do for other goods and services. Rothbard challenges the idea that state intervention is voluntary because it is supported by a majority. He argues that majority coercion is still coercion and that the public never has the opportunity to vote on the state system itself. Rothbard draws a sharp contrast between the market and the state. On the market, all is harmony and mutual benefit. With state intervention, conflict and exploitation arise. He cites Calhoun's analysis of taxation to illustrate how state intervention creates classes of taxpayers and tax consumers, leading to antagonism. Rothbard emphasizes the importance of analyzing the indirect consequences of intervention. He argues that while individuals may expect to benefit from intervention, the actual results often lead to losses. He contrasts this with the market, where the free market mechanism quickly corrects errors and aligns expectations with reality. Rothbard delves into the effects of price controls, both maximum and minimum. He explains how price ceilings create shortages, queues, and black markets, while price floors lead to surpluses and misallocation of resources. Rothbard applies his analysis to minimum wage laws, demonstrating how they create involuntary unemployment by preventing workers from selling their labor at a market-determined price. Rothbard argues that prohibiting the production or sale of certain products injures both consumers and producers. He discusses the emergence of black markets, the inefficiencies they entail, and the monopolistic privileges they inadvertently grant. Rothbard explores the various forms of monopolistic grants, from licenses to tariffs to patents. He argues that these grants distort the market, harm consumers, and benefit privileged entities at the expense of others. Rothbard criticizes antitrust laws as a form of government intervention that hinders efficiency and innovation. He argues that the only true monopoly is a government-granted privilege, and that antitrust laws themselves are a form of restraint of trade. Rothbard analyzes Henry George's proposal for a single tax on ground rent. He argues that the tax would have distortive effects, fail to force idle land into use, and ultimately lead to inefficiencies and misallocation of resources. Rothbard concludes that a truly neutral tax is impossible. He examines various principles of taxation, such as the ability to pay and benefit principles, and finds them all wanting. He argues that taxation is inherently coercive and cannot replicate the voluntary nature of market exchanges. In conclusion, Power and Market is a powerful and uncompromising critique of government intervention. It challenges us to rethink our assumptions about the role of the state and the potential of the free market to provide solutions to societal problems. This has been a BrightLearn video from BrightLearn.ai on the book Power and Market, Government and the Economy by Murray N. Rothbard. Visit BrightLearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and visit naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.